At what point did you wish to have questions of Ms. Angelotti?
Are you just going to summarize?
Yes.
All right, we questioned your other witnesses. So I will open questioning for the board for Ms. Agnoletti. Marv?
What is the definition that you use for a shallow well? Is it 250 feet or less?
The shallow aquifer system is essentially the materials that the glacial materials that lie on top of the shallow bedrock, which is a unit. So in this region, I'm going to call it the BACOG area, the communities and thereabouts, it's probably from ground surface to a depth of anywhere from 200, 250 feet to maybe 350 or 400 feet, depending on where you are.
Okay, thank you. We know that there's an agreement for 2018 with Lake Zurich that water will be brought to this site. So that what you're talking about is your concern is those 6 years where there will not be municipal water?
My concern is for the environment in those years, about existing wells that would be affected by a well on the site, a high-capacity well on the site.
Okay. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Al.
On the $100,000, or $100, but on 100,000 gallon per day, usage, is that based on the 50 acres that will be developed or proposed to be developed?
Is that the what?
Oh,
The extent?
the 100,000 gallons per day usage you're talking about, is that based on the 50 acres being developed?
That's based on industry publications that talk about retail malls, water consumption, and average retail mall water consumption in the range of 250,000 square feet to 1.25 1,250,000 square feet in the United States, with that water usage being approximately 116,000 gallons per 24 hours.
Okay, that's all I have.
Jerry?
That just sounds a little bit high for the type of thing that would be there, unless you had something that was using a lot of water. Say you had a fitness center and it had a pool, or you had a car wash, or you had something. This is what you're saying is that just a typical retail store, maybe a couple restaurants, that's how much water they would use?
That's published
That's what they
industry
say?
standards, or published industry results.
I would like to thank you very much for your report. It was very informative.
Thank you.
Carol?
No, I have nothing at this time.
Dennis? John?
Can we go to runoff for a minute, please? Recognizing that Mother Nature has a pretty good way of screening the waters before it gets to the shallow aquifers, would it be possible for us to require the developer to put in screening on all his parking lots from runoff? And what effect would you think would have something like that would have on it?
I don't think I'm the person to answer that question. I think probably a stormwater engineer could speak to best management practices for stormwater management, essentially.
Okay. I thought of your wealth of knowledge, as I know you have, just snap right out with that.
Chairman, I can answer that. I've been an expert in the area. I'm glad to answer.
Perhaps this is
Go ahead.
I'd be glad to. Stormwater runoff.
What's your name?
My name is Craig Murphy.
Mr. Chairman, is this appropriate?
Do you want an answer then?
Well, yes, I would.
All right. then we'll let Mr. Gerke answer.
Thank you. My name is Greg Gerke with Gerke Technology Group. I'm an industrial water treatment, some people would say expert, but for the last 32 years. Your question about stormwater runoff and water quality, there would be the only thing you would be able to do with stormwater runoff, if you just considered it as a runoff of the property, screening or bays of hail or something like that, they would only take out large suspended solids, nothing dissolved. And everything Janet talked about is all dissolved stuff, salts, chlorides, potassium, all those other things are dissolved into the water. What you're talking about removing would be just dirt, material, floaties, all those types of things. But suspended solids, total suspended solids. At the end of the day, for them to control that would be a massive, massive public works job to retain all that water, run it through some type of water treatment process as filtration, followed up with water softening and other maybe chemical treatment to clean all that water up. Or a massive reverse osmosis system, such as the ones they put in Arizona, things of that nature. So that's what would happen. And a side comment on the number of chlorides that she had up there, which was a very good slide, by the way, is 42 to 102 milligrams per liter, or parts per million. Lake Michigan water is 16. People who have heart disease, high blood pressure, things of that nature, chlorides, potassium chloride, sodium chloride, calcium chloride, all lead to liver function failures, kidney failures, high blood pressure, etc. And very expensive equipment needs to be taken out of that. The local area hospital, Good Shepherd, their area for heart patients, they have very special water that they put in there just for those areas, so those patients won't drink that. The water from the ground here would be not so good for heart patients, because we all have water softeners. And the water softener put large amounts of chlorides into the system, sodium chloride. And water softeners do not take chlorides out. They just put them into the stream here, not just road salts and things of that nature.
So are you referencing the private well or the municipal well?
Both.
Both.
I can testify later, which I will, that I think the numbers in terms of water use in this property are extremely low. Hawthorne Woods built a 3,200 deep well, 2,800 foot deep well at the corner of Old McHenry and Midlothian. And that's a 400,000 gallon per day capacity. This property could possibly use as much as 6 million gallons a day under some of their proposals. And if they had to put water softening equipment on that property, that could discharge in this regeneration mode close to 1 million gallons of water for discharge in backwash and regeneration. If that were the case, what would you do with 1 million gallons of water in about 2 or 3 hours? Where would it go? How would it discharge off the property? It would have to have some type of retention. And again, if you're worried about runoff with high chlorides, high sodium in the water, high calcium, high magnesium, high iron, etc., radium, strontium, barium, we could go on and on. How is that going to be addressed? It's
All
a
right,
question.
Mr. Gerke, I think we're getting a little off the subject.
Yeah. Just one other question to support your statement about the state of Illinois not requiring permits for wells, particularly deep wells. I think it's a travesty that they don't do that. I recall back a number of years when the Ivanhoe Club was designed and spray irrigation was the big rage. Well, it took millions of gallons of water to fill their retention pond to start this system. My well, I had to extend 3 times, and I had no alternative to it. So shame on the state of Illinois for not controlling this.
Mr. Chairman, may I rebut what Mr. McGurky said about water quality? I'm Kurt Wolford, the chief engineer.
Not at this time.
Kurt Wolford, W-O-O-L-F-O-R-D, chief engineer for the Lake County Stormwater Management Commission.
Any other questions from the board for Ms. Agnoletti? questions from the Dimuccis?
No questions.
Thank you. Any questions from people who signed up to cross-examine? Anybody in the public that signed up wants to ask a question? No? Thank you.